I don't have an intro yet. I think this thing's already unstarted. I'm getting one. I'm getting one. I don't have it yet. It's on my to-do list. Too many books. Too many books to finish off first. Too many red mornings. Too many of all the other stuff. Welcome, guys. The Orion Channel, the movie one, Gonzo movie review. That's probably the best description I've heard of it yet. I just released a video, Way of the Gun, 2000, Benicio del Toro, Ryan Felipe, James Caan, the guy who played Grandpa on Walking Dead. It's like Tay Diggs. It's one of those ones. It's like The Outsiders, and I don't know if they watch this anymore in school. I might be dating myself, but where you in school and they make you watch The Outsiders when to follow up the book, and you realize, like, dude, everybody in this is famous. There's like Tom Cruise, Matt Dillon, uh, Patrick Swayze, Ralph Macchio. You're like, how did they fit all of these guys in there? And you realize they were just all not. I like the idea of the Jack Murphy sound, or Jack Murphy P Hub sound. I like that. And I can't recommend this movie enough. Like, it really is. If you're the and where to even start? You know what I should probably start with? This movie failed. It flopped. It flopped at the box office. Like, I remember when I was doing the studying for this, I looked up the numbers, and it cost them about 8.5 million to make. It only grossed in the movie theater about 6 million, and afterwards with DVD sales and all that stuff, it managed to hit 13. So if you don't know how the accounting works for movies, generally speaking, the cost of the movie is the cost of like the actors, the all that stuff, and then usually you double that because the marketing budget is equal to the production budget. So if you make twice of what the movie costs in the box office, you tend to break even. And ideally, for a successful movie, you want it to be three times. So this one, ultimately, 8 million budget, made 13 million. So it was a flop by all things. But it's not a flop because it's bad. And that's the thing that always gets you when you see movies, is that you think a movie has to be bad to flop, but it's not. This one was actually really good. It's, I would say, the timing, because I guess here's a little history lesson too. People loved crime thrillers in the 80s because the Cold War was still going on. There was that constant threat of nuclear annihilation, and the Russians coming. I don't think people understand now, and even people who were alive then may not understand now, that it was like a cultural touchstone. Like, do you know how in the last 10, 15 years, how excuse me, like feminism and woke stuff, and the troons and all that, like, that's like a cultural, like, you cannot touch it, it's there, it's like, it's overbearing, anything you do kind of has it surrounding it. Same thing. Same thing with the communists. And that's why I love shitting on communists on this channel. There are horrible people. One of my favorite joys on earth is like stopping the movie review dead right in the middle, just to have a rant about how communists are ruining everything and they made everything shitty. And there's always somebody that comes in and is like, hey, how dare you, comrade? And I'm just like, hey, the military trained me how to sink communists, or I don't like your gobbledygook. um, yeah, so it was like a flop, but it was a flop because of the time. So 1980, I want to say 89, 87, somewhere around there, the Berlin Wall fell, the CCP was no more, and then it became the Russian Federation, and they became capitalist, and everybody was happy. Yeah, and they were still like Bosnia, so it's not like there wasn't wartime action, and Bosnia is always the fun one because, like, I have no concept of the Bosnian War in my life other than when I was in the military. All the Air Force guys used to be infantry, and they had their time in Bosnia, like Jack Bauer 24, that kind of thing. They were all the Bosnia guys. And I was just like, oh, okay. And it's kind of like, I bet you anything, if Zoomers were to see me talking about the global war on terror now, that's probably what they're like, oh, okay, whatever. So yeah, that's their Bosnia. So for a 10-year period there, until 2001, which I don't know if you guys know your history, but in 2001 some big shit kind of happened. There was unlimited optimism, unlimited nihilism. It all kind of lumped together. You had Nirvana and you had MC Hammer in the same playlist, and it made no sense, and we were all happy for it. So a movie like Way of the Gun does not fit with that paradigm. It breaks all the movies, and it's funny that I put it that way because there was an interview with McQuarrie, the director and the writer, after Usual Suspects. The reason he did Usual Suspects, you know that movie. Everybody knows that movie. Kaiser Soze, whatever. The reason it did so well is, as it was described, it broke all the rules, mostly because he didn't know them. And being how, and this is a brag on my part. So my new book, The Dog Walker, ultimately, a great book. It's going to be out in Valentine's. If you're watching this after the fact, it's out now. Go get it. Link will be in the description. Where I haven't read enough books in the same genre as it, like literary fiction, in order to make something that fits within all the rules of literary fiction. So I kind of broke all the rules in the same way. And it's just a good book that stands on its own merits. But yeah, and that part I appreciated. It's like he didn't know that you're supposed to have, and part of it is he kind of leaned in on it. So like that was his first thing when he went to the studio. He's like, I'm going to pitch a movie that no suit would agree with. I want to make no character redeemable. And that's where it starts. I'd say the best opening of any movie ever. Punching Sarah Silverman in the face. And I don't know if you guys are Sarah Silverman fans or not, but watching her get smoked for running her mouth, it's absolutely within the story in Minecraft. It's very gratifying. Very gratifying. Yeah, the boys are just sitting on a car, counting money, like doing some like low-key criminal activity, nothing fancy. It establishes that right away, and that's all it takes. Two guys counting money on the car outside of a bar. Oh, they were clearly just dealing drugs or something. And they set off a car alarm to a nice fancy car, and the guy's like, get off my car, and Sarah Silverman starts running her mouth. And then she runs her mouth, threatening these guys, expecting her boyfriend to back her up, and he's like, oh, okay, I'll do what you want, baby. He's very, simpish. He's like, hey, you want to do the man dance? Let's go. And so Felipe kind of looks back at Del Toro, and this is like probably the best characterization ever. He pushes the guy out of the way and punches Sarah Silverman, but grabs her so she can't get away and just goes to town. The whole crowd gets angry. Everybody's jumping him. It's so funny. Oh, she's a comedian. She's been around for like 30 years. Yeah, of course. I mean, I led with that on the trailer. Have you guys, actually, you know what? I should have shown the trailer here. Here, I'm going to put on the trailer now because it's this goddamn good. Where in the hell did I put it? I lost my trailer. I'll find it again. Oh, there it is.
You want to do the man dance? First dance is yours.
Have you ever wanted to watch a movie where Sarah Silverman gets punched in the face for running her mouth? Do you love a good old-fashioned Western? How about a heist movie? What about a buddy cop flick with gratuitous nudity for no reason other than it's awesome? What about a mob movie? Does the idea of someone getting his arms pulled apart on an oil rig make you wet for more? Do you love the kind of movie where everyone is the bad guy but you root for them anyways? How about a movie about drifters looking for a score? Are they hitmen? Are they assassins? Are they ex-special forces? You don't know, and they never tell you. Do you love a movie that doesn't give you all the answers? Well then, I have the movie for you. In the age of Americana, after the Cold War, but before the War on Terror, America hit its stride.
It's morning again in America.
A hard-boiled gumshoe detective turned director who was so damned good that Tom Cruise kidnapped him to write and direct every one of his movies. Benicio del Toro and Ryan Felipe, the two biggest stars of the 90s, teamed up to turn the concept of a buddy cop movie on its head. These guys are so damned good that even James Caan decided to show up and give gravitas. Everyone is the bad guy, but you root for them anyways. This all-star cast came together and created the most amazing, thought-provoking, and goddamned entertaining gunslinger movie in history. It's edge-of-your-seat, non-stop action, witty banter, and induced pregnancies. The third act, Shootout Alone, is worth the price of admission. You never know what's going to happen, but you're on the edge of your seat to see it when it does. Butch Cassidy meets the Sundance Kid, meets Fight Club. It's the way of the gun. 2000.
I'm pregnant.
Did you guys know, by the way, this guy is like best friends with Bryan Singer? I didn't know that either. It's one of those very entertaining things you find out about later on. So yeah, and Marty's right up top here. He's in the chat right now. It establishes they're psychopaths because they knew they were going to get beaten badly. Yeah, all that. They don't care. Single-minded focus, drifters, and then it shows like more exposition. The drifters just doing by to get a thing, and then the start of the movie happens when they piece upon information about a heist, like a chick with bodyguards. That means somebody with money taking some chick to the fertility clinic when they were trying to donate sperm. And so they plan a heist. And the part that I love about all of this stuff is, so like right now the protagonists, they're not likable. They're jerking off, they like porn, they like beat up a girl in a thing. They knew they were going to get beat. They're already low key doing drug stuff. They're drifters. There's nothing likable about them other than they're charming. The main character, the main antagonist, like the villains are like what are they called? Mafia, or you're not even quite sure because like they don't tell you because it doesn't matter. Like if you find out Chittick, the main villain, is in the mafia, it doesn't change anything about the story, so they just don't tell you. And that's part of the storytelling I love, is where the author or the screenplay guy or whatever they want to call it, the writer, he understands the details you need and he gives you those. And for every detail that doesn't matter, he allows you to fill in the blanks. So you'll watch this and you'll think, like for example, the main characters, Longbow and Parker. You don't know anything about them. You know they're competent because, when they're talking throughout the movie, they talk about, oh, you're a bagman. And they know what a bagman is. And they establish they know what a bagman is. And they go, oh, I used to be a bagman myself. Like, what's a bagman? He's clearly, and then they kind of describe when James Caan's in the prison earlier, he handles Mr. Chittick's laundry. He does all the things that he'll never know. So he's the one that basically does all the bad guy stuff that needs to get done. He's the second in command. He's the mad dog from Hard Boiled, right? But what is this for? Is this for a mafia organization? Is this for a militia? You don't know. You fill in the blanks. For me, the way I picture it is these two guys were military, special forces. They fought in the Bosnian War. They got out of the military. They're on hard times. They get working for organized crime. None of that is explained in the movie. But in my head, because of the scant details that matter for the story that are in there, it allows me to fill that in. For you guys, they could have just been, criminals that were kids and they eventually got brought into this thing. They found they had a penchant for it. Grosse Pointe Blank is in a movie that doesn't quite do it the same because the guy talks about it a bit more. Yeah, after high school, the military found I was a psychopath, so they found out I'd be a good assassin. Then I started working for the CIA. It's like those little details, it's better off when you get to fill them in yourself. Yeah, if you love stuff, let out because it's not relevant. You should love the movie Ronin. Oh, dude, Ronin is... The only reason I haven't done Ronin yet is because I want to make sure I do it justice. I would argue between Way of the Gun and Ronin, I don't know which one would be better on its own merits. I would put them as equals. They're that good. Anyways, yeah, so the guy, Bryan Singer, him, buddies, did Usual Suspects, head him out. And then you find out he was in a detective agency. And this is one of those things that I've found as I'm doing this channel that I really enjoy about watching guys who make really good movies, is that like the director, the screenwriter, these guys all have interesting lives. You go to Rambo, you watch that one, you realize, or I Come in Peace is actually even better example. The director from I Come in Peace, he was the second unit director, or like they were like a pivotal role in Predator. You're like, really? So like these guys made awesome movies like Predator, Terminator, whatever. And then the guys that were working on those sets and learned from the best, they ended up making cool stuff like I Come in Peace or Rambo 3 and all that stuff. And then those other guys that were making Predator, why were they so good? You find out Rambo 3, the screenwriter, he was in the Vietnam War. And so the idea of writing all this stuff was kind of based on his ideas of, people with PTSD coming out of the war, his experiences there. It makes it a richer environment. And that's one thing that's missing nowadays, because you don't get that. You get some guy, it's like, yeah, I was born in Beverly Hills. It's like Vaush. I was born in Hollywood Hills. I got a job for my dad's movie company. And now I'm making, and what do they make? They make slop. Because they have zero life experience to temper their stories. And I'd argue that matters. Like, in my book alone, I've learned that. A lot of the stories in here, they're not the same stories that I knew of in my life, but some of the details and the way of framing it and the way of putting them together is similar to them. Like, for example, one character in here, she ends up sleeping with the main character, but he forgot she existed. And it was like, that's something that actually happened in my life. And so I put it in there because at the time of the story, it was a relevant detail that helps push the plot forward. his way of like overcoming the idea of being a promise keeper to his to his mom when it ended up hurting his love life and all that. And it's great. Same thing here. So you found out he was a gumshoe for a detective agency. Now he downplays. He's like, we're more of like a glorified security guard. He did 6 investigations over 4 years. That's 6 more than I've ever done. You know what I mean? The fact that he got to be Columbo for 6 years before doing this. And the guy on Predator, he was a World War II vet. Other guys are cops. Steel, like, what's the other one? What's the author I'm thinking of? I'm going to get the name wrong. I can't remember which one, but like before he was writing his books. Actually, you know what? Let's stick with ones I know. Lord of the Rings. Tolkien, World War I vet. A lot of what he had wrote in Lord of the Rings was based on his time in like the fucking trenches with the mustard gas and all that stuff. And so like that part of the magic of the world was escapism. Part of the whole land of Mordor thing was based on the industrialization of war. And you realize like good stories are good lives lived expressed outside. Venkatesh Rao's the guy who wrote Temple. Vouch is this a fucking communist that rants. He's a rich kid communist who rants on the internet about why everybody else is far right and he's not. But then it turns out he's got a real hard on for age of consent laws. It's the weirdest thing ever. But like it's an interesting story, but he tells it so badly it just makes it off-putting. So whatever. So yeah, he left the gumshoe business to start movies. And I'm like, that's a cool way of doing it, which makes sense too, because if you watch his movies, you watch The Usual Suspects, you watch Way of the Gun, and you see that like investigative thing where he doesn't do setups and payoffs. Most movies, they'll do setups and payoffs. You like set it up, you have a Chekhov's gun, and then later on in the movie, you have it fire off, or some detail that comes up earlier ends up paying off in the end. And it didn't seem related at first, but with him, it's different. It's just a reveal. It's like, as you get through the story, you find more information. You find out all of a sudden, oh, so Chittick doesn't have a retirement fund. And you find out the money, the 15 million or whatever it is that they're getting for kidnapping Juliette Lewis. They're like, oh, this is a motive with a universal adapter. One of my favorite lines. You don't think, do you? I don't think anything. $15 million is motive with a universal adapter. It's a really good line. And then they're honest with each other at some points. Like, who are you? I'm the guy that you wake up to 10 years from now with a bullet and with a gun and a pillow. And it's like, till that day. I like that one. And tons of little things. And it's all just reveals. Like, you find out why, like, at one point, they don't want Chittick to go to the meet because he's compromised. Meanwhile, the two guys, Jeffers and Obex, they're kind of sociopaths. It's like, I want these guys. I want the sociopaths there. I don't want you. You're compromised. Like, what the hell does that mean? Why is he compromised? And you kind of find out later on through the movie. It's like, oh, that's why he's compromised. And then that matters because, all right, I gotta spoil it. So if you haven't seen it before, just count to 5. Come back in like a minute. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you find out the Robin, the character that's having Chittick's surrogate baby, is actually his daughter. And his retirement plan was Chittick will pay him. He'll let his daughter use as a surrogate for her. And then that'll be his retirement fund. Which again, you pimped out your daughter to your boss? Not a redeeming quality, but you end up liking the guy anyway, right? I wouldn't even say they're anti-heroes. They're not anti-heroes. Anti-heroes have a hero. Like the Punisher is an anti-hero. These guys are just anti. But yeah, they do have more fun, but it frees them because they don't have to fit within a moral framework that may not fit with the character. So once you're not a hero, but you're a protagonist, you're more congruent with what you're trying to do. So then you find out later on, and there's like a bunch of little decisions that you don't realize. Like at the very end, Sarno ends up, that's the James Caan character. Sarno ends up being the only guy who pretty much survives. He shoots, he's going to shoot Parker, the Ryan Philippe character. And you see him, he's got his pistol out. You see the target right on his back. And then you see he lowers it a bit, shoots him in the leg. You're like, what the hell did he do that for? And then Benicio del Toro, same thing. He sees him, shoots him in the leg. Why didn't he kill those guys? And then you realize earlier on, they were having a little fight in the Mexican brothel, right? And Parker and Longbach, they run out of this one room. James Caan, Sarno gets in there and he sees it's his daughter, like induced pregnancy. And he saw, oh, they were protecting my daughter so she could have her kid and so she could survive. He killed Jeffers. He's dying in the corner there. And he kind of is real stunned and he realized, like, oh, I kind of owe these guys one. They did me a solid. They saved my kid, right? He is compromised. All the compromise stuff makes sense and it kind of motivates their actions. I didn't even put this in the video because there wasn't a place for this. But it's a little detail like that and you have to put it together. They don't tell you it. They don't tell you that detail at all. Why did he shoot them in the leg? Oh, that's why he shot them in the leg. I think they do end up dying though at the end. Like they're sitting there bleeding as they pan out and they never tell you that they're dead. But the reason I think they did eventually die is because at the end of the movie, like after that scene, nobody's character arc is solved. Like you don't, because the main one for Sarno, James Caan's character, is he wants his retirement fund, which means his daughter has to give birth to Chittick's baby and has to give it to Chittick and get paid. But his need is to be a good father to his daughter. She wants to keep the baby, and it turns out the doctor is the father. So does he do what his want does, lose his relationship with his daughter, or does he lose his potential retirement fund, keep the relationship with his daughter, and she keeps the baby and has it with the doctor? You never know, because Longback and Parker got shot. So they don't, and they're the ones they're the narrators of the story. So once they get shot, you stop finding out about the details of the story. Again, it's like a little touch like that. I just love that shit. If they were alive, they probably would have said it. But you don't tell you. You have to figure it out for yourself. And that's what I'm talking about, how good stories make you think about it, right? Oh, by the way, quick pause. I got to do a test thing. So it hit the 4,000 watch hours in the channel here today. I need one of you guys to test something for me. I need to test the Super Chats work. Just a 99-cent whatever one. I just need to see that it's working. Because YouTube hasn't given me any indication for any of this stuff. It keeps blue balling me. Thank you very much for that thing. I'll give you a huge shout out on the thing. All right. Now, the thing I can't figure out about McQuarrie is he eventually got picked up by Tom Cruise. And I think his first movie he did with Tom Cruise was Valkyrie. I have to go look it up 1 second. Underworld Way of the Gun. Yeah, Valkyrie. Remember the one where Tom Cruise plays the German soldier who tries to kill Hitler? Okay, so it's not on there yet. All right, fair enough. Yeah, so he did that movie with them. And then all of a sudden, everything. Jack Reacher, Edge of Tomorrow, Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, Fallout, Top Gun Maverick. He's the director of Top Gun Maverick. Like, this is how awesome this guy is. You never even thought about it. Okay, so it's not there yet. Donka. Which, by the way, I'm going to be setting up some proper Orion merch for the store. So obviously from the other podcast, Red Morning, we have the Red Morning stuff. I'm going to start adding some Orion cups. I think that's going to be a good pivot here. Oh yeah, there's that surprise twist too. Did real Marty not like this, or did fake Marty not like this? Yeah, it's always good to know. It's kind of annoying then they haven't finished the monetization part. Well, it's whatever. So yeah, you realize that. He's done all of these movies, and you can tell, because he didn't write any of them, he just directed them. So you can tell his movies when he's a writer, because you end up having the gumshoe mystery reveals coming up. But then as the director, he takes that same style for writers that don't do it. It's just interesting. He also did The Tourist, which, I don't know if you know that one. That was Johnny Depp and Angelina Jolie. It's not my favorite movie, but it's the same reveal-based stuff that you would see in Way of the Gun or Usual Suspects. It's just, I don't know. I think it's because the actors in that one are too big. They were kind of a bit of, what do they call them? Divas. Actually, yeah, to be fair, that is the one twist you see near the end is when, well, it's not even near the end. It's near the middle. So Francesca, Chittick's wife, the one who wants to have the surrogate, whatever, she is sleeping with Jeffers, the bodyguard, the black guy. And then she ends up being pregnant at the very end. Which then throws you for another loop. And I've yet to understand why that detail is in there. I have some theories, but I like, there's nothing I can look to in the story that would tell me whether I'm right or not. Like, I don't have the confidence. Real Marty likes the movie. Gotcha. Here, what I gotta do... Oh, that's weird. I can't even add you as a moderator. Oh, you know what it is? I'm probably logged in with the wrong account. That's fine. I'll fix it later. So at the end, Francesca says she's pregnant. And then you're meant to know, okay, so she's clearly cheating on Chittick with the guy, with Jeffers. So is that going to be his kid or is that going to be hers? Now you can interpret that one way. It is Jeffers' baby. And Chittick gets his karmatic revenge for all this stuff he's caused. That's his failure. Because there's a lot of like Greek tragedy in this one. It's not actually a typical story. It turns out there's two types of stories, the comedy, tragedy, you know, the two masks. And it's not even a comedy one, but like comedy one is a character has a want and a need. They discover their want and then they find out it's not what they need and then they get their need and the character grows. That's the most standard character arc. The tragic character arc is the same thing. They have a want and the need, and the want ends up destroying their need through what's called the fatal flaw. So for Parker and Longbox, their fatal flaw is, you know, the best mousetraps, or there's always cheese in a mousetrap when they see the money there. Had they, in the scene where Parker actually wants to let Robin go, they have kind of a little talks like, yeah, I don't think we should do this. I don't think it's right. I want to let her go. And Longbox like, all right, you want to do that? And he knows she's got a shotgun in there in the house. He doesn't know, but she does. It's that Alfred Hitchcock thing where there's a conversation and you don't think there's any tension. But if you put a bomb in there and the audience knows, but the characters don't, all of a sudden the scene has tension. It's the same thing. It's the ticking bomb. And so he asked Parker, hey, can you go into the... That's fine. We'll just leave her there. Can you just go into the hotel room and get me my coat? And he goes, yeah, sure. So he walks over to the door. Longbox waits a second. Then he pulls him away from the door. Robin shoots a shotgun shell through the door. Parker gets mad. He's like, because he sees his coat was actually on the van. So he's like, you lied to me, you son of a bitch. And he goes, there you go. Now you're back. And then he realized, yeah, it's like nobody here is good. Don't feel sorry for her. She's just as evil as the rest of us. She's selling her baby to the highest bidder. So get in the game. Let's get our payout. There's no good guys here. I love that shit. But again, that's his fatal flaw. For Chittick, I don't know what his fatal flaw was. I've looked through it a bunch. I think it might be missing, to be honest with you. Other than just not paying the guys and taking the heat from whatever. Or maybe it's just because he's been a bad guy for so long. So is it a case where it's Jeffers' baby and Chittick got cucked? I don't know. Is it the case where this allows the freedom for James Caan's character to have his daughter keep her baby and then move on because the real one's pregnant? Maybe. Could be. They never really tell you. You never really find out. But yeah, that's the only thing. And I think that's the part, because McQuarrie, when he talks about it, he says, is it a good movie? Yes. Does it have flaws? Yes. Is there some problems with the technical aspects? Sure, but it's sincere. I think that's what he's getting at. There was a couple elements like that in there that he wanted to make a little tighter and didn't. Which, again, for all this too, though, I don't know for sure. He never did specifics, and I have nothing to go off on the plot on this one. But it's an interesting thing. And even with those faults, you don't need them. That's the other thing. You don't need them. Anti-villain is Slash from Guns N' Roses. Yeah. But and then the last thing I want to talk about is like the ghost, the three different characters. It's something great. Trudy talks about it in the Anatomy of Genre, where your main character, like all the secondary characters, aren't just people. They are representations of different aspects of the main character. Ideally, when you're doing a story. So, in this case, Parker and Longbox are the protagonists. So you see Sarno and Mercer. That's the old guys. The guy who starts the thing with like a bag full of guns and he's playing Russian roulette just for funsies on a Friday. Those two guys are like the Longbox and Parker of the future. They're the ghost of Christmas future. Which, by the way, a detail I totally missed when I was doing the research, but I only caught just recently was, which is funny because the movie came out like 30 years ago. You see, Sarno needs to get a partner on this one. And he's got a list in front of him. And he's got like 8 names and he keeps crossing everyone off. The Mercer character is the last one on the list. So he's not the best of the best. He's the piece of shit. He's like the last resort. which is also suicidal at the start, which is kind of funny. I don't know why that detail just makes me laugh, but yeah. He's not really a fan of him. He's just using him. Which, kind of like Longbuck and Parker there during the Robin's shotgun scene. But what happens in the future if you don't make yourself a nest egg, if you don't plan for the future, that sort of thing. And then you got Jeffers and Obex. They're like the younger version of these guys. They're the ones that aren't, they're slick, they're dressed nicely, they use tactical things, they say affirmative, they're very, very bad at their job. Like they're gung-ho and they're tactical, but they just don't know the gig. They don't know the score, they don't know the game, they don't know how it's played. And ultimately, that would have been these guys if they decided to not carve their own path too. And then you see they all have their own fatal flaws. The sitting at the table where Jeffers and Obex decide to steal the money, that's their tragic flaw. Once they take the universal adapter in front of themselves, that's what gets them killed. If they have just stuck to their job, like Sarno did, he always sticks to his job, does his thing, is a survivor, and that's the kind of lesson that he learned there. Mercer's fatal flaw was just he didn't listen to Sarno, because Sarno's the smarter one between them. It's like, don't do anything, stay out of sight, just watch. He walked up and during the Mexican shootout at the hotel, and he ends up getting shot for it. Same thing as the guys. Had they let Robin go, they probably would have been fine now. So this is like the stuff that I just love. Like all of this stuff. You just look at this movie, you watch it once, and it's fun. You watch it a second time, you start picking out all these little details. You watch it again and again, and you watch it for like 10 years, half a dozen times, and then you start picking out some of the most minute details, and you're like, oh my god, the level of detail he put in this is crazy. I don't know how to impart that. Like, I do my best when I do my videos to impart on you guys the enjoyable part of that. But like, I don't know how to give it that same level of love without just babbling like an idiot. So I do hope that the edits that I make in these videos kind of impart the fun and the details and the idea of paying attention to the characters and the story, as opposed to, and it's why I hate movie reviews on YouTube. Everybody focuses on the wrong details, man. Do you think a more long-form video essay format could be in the cards for this channel? It could be. It's all about how much time do I have in the day, Zach. The long-form content, it's more work on the script thing. I would probably definitely... it's the video part of it that would take a lot of time, and that's what I'm not sure what I would do. I might just do it in like a riffing podcast format like this, but scripted. I don't know yet. Who knows? Oh, I'm glad to see you're at least getting it. But yeah, so the movie reviews, the communist guys. First off, most people don't even review the movies. They use the movie as a thinly veiled talking point to talk about whatever shit they want to talk about. You know what I mean? They make it all about themselves. And this is why I was originally shitting on the communist ones. They'll watch a movie, and they'll be like, "Well, this is the proletariat," and yeah, like, shut up. The other guys, like, I went to film school. I need to explain how film school is great. And he kind of talks about that part. And he kind of uses the movie to talk about that. Everybody watches a movie, ironically, like Razor Fist. Even though I like Razor Fist's channel, I like his stuff. But even he does this, where he watches a movie, but he loves watching bad movies and just like enjoying how bad they are. I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like when you watch fat people eating on YouTube, or fat people falling down and getting hurt, where it just makes you feel better about yourself, like a Jerry Springer thing, or watching like the Fresh and Fit guys yelling at women. You're like, oh, it feels great that I'm not that thing. I don't like the idea of the hate watching. I don't like the idea of loving the bad movies, ironic watching, all that stuff. It's like, just strip the irony away, man. Watch something on its own merits. Can you enjoy it in the sense that it's trying to tell you a story? Can you watch it on that level? And I think there's a level of sincerity, and this is what I'm banking on for this channel in the future, a level of sincerity that we just haven't seen in years, man. Haven't seen in years. Where, and I'll use Rambo as an example. There was a few people that kind of commented on the Rambo video, Rambo 3, and they like it because it was cheesy. It's like, it's not cheesy. It's Americana. It's 1986 or 1989 Americana. Like when he drop kicks Buddy into the cave and then dies from an explosion, that's meant to be fucking awesome. And it is. It's fucking awesome. The fights aren't meant to be realistic. The fights are meant to be theatric. The fights are meant to have that cathartic sense of us beating up the fucking communists. And it's awesome. But now you get people watching like, oh, look at this. He does a spin kick. It's totally unreal. It's like the comic book nerd. We've deified the comic book nerd on movie reviews. And it's like, no, you're supposed to watch this the same way you watch WWF. Like, have you ever watched WrestleMania? And you watch guys selling the hits. It's like, dude, why is he just standing there letting Hulk Hogan punch him in the face? It's like, that's the point. Hulk is building up momentum right now. He is letting you feel the catharsis. He's been beaten down this whole time. And you know what? Like, they always do it during, like, near the 3/4 of the way of the match, where, like, somebody's just pounding on Hulk. And he's getting him down. He puts him in, like, and they always get him into a choke, right? Get him in that choke. And he's down, and the ref lifts his hand. 1. Oh, my God, he's going to beat Hogan in a straight-up choke. Does 2. And then he does 3. And it's like, he, like, falls down to here, and he's like, wait a minute. And then you feel that little build, right? And it starts to shake a little bit. It's like the remember the T-Rex scene in Jurassic Park where the water starts shaking? This is like the water starts shaking. And then his hand comes up, and then they both come up, and he starts pumping, and you're like, holy Jesus, he's coming back. It's like the ultimate, like, thing. And there's no reason for it. In a real fight, he'd have been choked out and passed out. You watch UFC, by the time you got a rear naked choke on you, you're done. You're fucking done. But not here, man. No, he's good. He puts a foot up. He gets another foot up. He starts shaking. His like balded mullet hair is just spinning back and forth like a hula hoop. Then he gets out, and then he looks over at the guy. And this is like my favorite part of WrestleMania when I was growing up. And this is the kind of thing I love in the theatrical fights and theatrical gunfights you see on this. He does like one of these, like, you fucked up now. And then the other guy is like, holy shit. And then it's like fucking go time. That catharsis, man. That theatrical catharsis. There's no realistic way to do that. There's no realistic way to do that. So you just have to sincerely go at it. And I want people to sincerely look at this. Like, this gunfight in Way of the Gun is just amazing. There's like a mini gunfight and then the main gunfight. The main gunfight starts when they get into the hacienda. They see a bar. They walk into the bar. They're loaded for bear. He's got like the gun, the shotgun. Their ammo's up. Their vests are on. And they walk in. They see just a bunch of prostitutes sitting in the bar. And then they just walk in. They're like, out. The girls get out. Smacks one of them on the ass on the way. I don't know, just something about just before a gunfight, smacking a hooker on the ass. And then they have a drink. And then they see in the middle of the hacienda is a fountain. And in the fountain is the bags of money. And like and it's like that quiet. It's the equivalent of like the choking, right? The chokehold. Every mousetrap has cheese in it. And you look and the money's right there. They pan down, see the money. You see them. It's framed perfectly too. It's like it's almost like a painting. And they're sitting there. They're relaxed. They take a shot. They're like, all right, this is it. Would you have a plan? It's like, no. Plan's just shit that goes wrong. What do we do? Let's just fucking go. And they walk out and it's just bam, bam, bam. And the gunfire is almost like it's telling a story. It's not just shooting for the sake of shooting. It's not some tactical simulation. Like at first it's just blaring gunfire and like pure chaos. Like as soon as they start, they're just shooting left, they shoot right, they shoot left, they shoot right. Everybody's firing shots at them. Benicio del Toro has to get down and he has to crawl forward as fast as he can while bullets are just flying off in front of him. It's just chaos until finally they get out of that initial thing and then they pause for a second. You know, Felipe's behind a wall, Del Toro's behind a pillar. He's like, are you alive? And he's like, fucking, oh, yeah, I'm good. And then one of my favorite storytelling part on there is there's this one guy who keeps getting pot shots off at them. I think one of them even hits Felipe in the chest and he's like, hates it. So so their plan is like to freak him out. They just start firing at him. Like every bullet, just bam, 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 bam. And the guy starts panicking and he's just like, holy shit. And then they stop firing and it's like quiet. And the guy's like, oh, that's weird. It's done. So he looks and he pops his head out because now it's like, and then that's when they start shooting him through the door. So it's basically just to bait him. A cacophony of sound and then quiet. And then the guy thinks it's safe. They go out and he gets shot. It's like, that's like a little mini story you have in there, which is just awesome. Exactly. The movie is telling a story. And at the money scene at the end is another good one too. Because Parker jumps into the fountain to go grab it. He ends up falling on a bunch of beer bottles. He gashes his arm up. He's injured as shit. He takes the money. He gets out of the the fountain. He starts walking towards cover. Benicio del Toro is almost out of ammo. He's gotten shot in the arm, so he has to do it all one-handed. And he's like desperate to get his thing loaded to fire shots off because Sarno keeps pulling pot shots off from a window on the second floor. So he gets to shoot just enough to keep him from killing Parker. But he can't do it fast enough, and he keeps running out of money. And so keeps running out of bullets. So Sarno shoots Parker in the leg. Parker's down. So Longbach goes over to pick him up and pull him through. Sarno comes down and he's out of bullets. It's like right there where they're like the desperate last minute for them. And they don't say a word. You don't know they're desperate. Everything they do shows the desperation. And Sarno's character said earlier on, the only thing you know about me is I'm a survivor. And that's it. He's a survivor. He's not running around. He's not diving behind stuff. He's casually walking. He goes to the window, lets off a couple shots. If they start shooting back, he takes cover, slowly reloads his... He's got a revolver. It's slow as shit to reload, even with the speed loader. And then at the end, he just walks downstairs, looks over at him, because he knows he's out of ammo. So in Longbach, he actually had the drop on him. He turned around, pulls his gun out, fires it first, but he's out of ammo. And he's like, fuck. Then Sarno, bam, 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 shoots him 3 times in the leg. Sits down, radios his people, comes in. It's every character is expressed perfectly through the gunfire. And the example I use for like millennials when we want to understand what the hell I'm talking about is the Star Wars movies. Yeah, I'm going to bring up Star Wars here. So when you watch Empire or Return of the Jedi, the lightsaber battles aren't just lightsaber battles. They're storytelling. So on Empire, Vader is absolutely mogs Luke, right? Luke doesn't stand a chance with him. But he's not trying to beat Luke in a fight. He's trying to see what Luke is capable of. So he's testing him, kind of toys with him, whatever. Luke finally does manage to sneak a hit off on his shoulder, and that's when he gets pissed off and chops off his arm, right? But the whole point to the story is just Vader trying to see if he's worth switching over to the dark side. And then in Empire, you see Luke is stronger now. He does the testing him again. Has he grown? Oh, he's actually really good right now. So Vader has to put in effort. But then Luke kind of realizes, like, I can't beat him unless I get angry. And if I get angry, I fall to the dark side. And he has to make that decision on his choice. His, like, ultimate choice is, do I beat my father or do I stay true to the Jedi? And he tries to stay true to the Jedi until they provoke him. And then he gets angry. And then once he gets angry, there's no, like, finesse. There's no spinning moves. There's no good lightsaber sabering or fencing. It's just like he's whacking at him like it's a hammer on a nail. And it works, and he wins. And that's when he realizes, yeah, I won. Chops off Vader's hand. He sees the mechanical thing, realizes he's turning into that guy, and he's like, oh, that's how they tricked my father. And so he gives up. But that's like good storytelling. Meanwhile, you watch the prequels. What should have been the most like awe-inspiring moment is the Obi-Wan fight with Vader. And what are they doing? It's just spinning lights. It's just a rave. You know that scene where they're just like spinning them around in circles, facing each other? Not a hit, not a thing. They're just like showing off who can spin it faster. That's why I hate the prequels right there. They don't tell. You came in that thing? You're braver than I thought. Yeah. You get it. So it's one of those things you realize. And then now that I've explained it to you, you're going to start to notice it when you start to watch fights in movies. Like, is this fight moving the story forward, or is this fight the director jangling some shiny keys in my face to keep me entertained? You're going to notice that every Star Wars film is just shit after that. They don't tell stories in any of it. And then you're going to realize, like, the worst thing to happen to Hollywood, I'll probably do a thing on this too, is when John Woo came to America. Not because he made bad movies. Hard Target was pretty good. So was Face Off. It's that all of a sudden, they switched over the idea of theatric fight scenes, like, Roadhouse, if you watch the final fight of that, or like the WrestleMania stuff. And they switched from that to a gritty, realistic fight, to where the technical skill of the fight matters more than the story they're trying to tell through it. And then once you start noticing that, you're going to realize, like, that's why movies suck now. Best 10 minutes of Star Wars was in Rogue One when Vader hides on the ship and massacres the rebels. No, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Pringles can. Like, you're not wrong in that it's a well choreographed fight. It's visually stunning. It looks cool. But that has nothing to do with nothing. The only reason that is in there is because we remember at the beginning of A New Hope, they're chasing this rebel ship. And that's the only reason it's there. It doesn't tell anything. They could take that scene out of the movie and it wouldn't change the movie at all. Is the first Ninja Turtles film from 1992 well and for you? I really do want to do it, man. But like, there's a retrospective out there right now on Ninja Turtles on YouTube. It's so goddamn good. Like, it's so good it'll make you cry. And I'm like, I can't do a better one than that. So that's the big intimidation factor, but it's worth it. And then you're talking about Liam Neeson shaky cam. Yeah, like in Taken, where they had to do 13 cuts to have him jump over a chain link fence. And it's like, it's not like Liam Neeson's not capable. If you watch the final sword fight at the end of Rob Roy, that's a great example of it. Like, I can't remember what the guy's name is, Aaron something or other. Anyways, the British guy. He's like a little Weasley guy, and they finally get their fight at the end. And you know Liam Neeson's a really good fighter in that one. But, you know, at the end, the guy's just technically more skilled. And so he kind of tires him out and he plays with him. He's basically treating it like he's savoring the death. I'd have to go look. If you look it up, I guarantee you he's going to be the first one that pops up. You can't miss it. You'll know the one. But at the very end, the reason that Rob Roy beat the guy wasn't because he was a better swordsman. Tim Roth, thank you. It wasn't because he was a better swordsman. It wasn't because he was stronger. It wasn't because he was more fit, because all of that stuff worked against him. He tired himself out. He almost got killed. What finished in the end is he's got the resolve. Like, he refuses to give up. And so, like, the way he does it is he grabs Tim Roth's sword, and he's just bleeding out the thing. He's basically sacrificing the use of his hand. Just blood splurting out. He's probably going to chop right through it with it, and then he uses it to hold it tight to where Tim Roth can't pull his sword out, and then he grabs his cleaves the guy over. That's a story moment, right? I like the fact that though they're all scared in the scene, they're still brave enough to pass through that info. The others could have had a chance. Yeah, see, like, you're not wrong on this one either. But here's the point I'm trying to get you. How does that impact the story? Like, I like what they're doing, but what is the purpose of what they're doing? The only reason that that has any meaning to you is because you know A New Hope, that they have to get the info to the rebels. That's it. It's just a thing has to happen. I would argue the better stuff is earlier on, when the characters that are stuck on the planet know that they're going to die, and they have to get it up there. And just that scene where they're like, okay, we did what we had to do. This is where we die. It's kind of got like that end of Cowboy Bebop thing. And they sit there and they watch the sunrise, right? I would say that's a more compelling thing. The Star Wars one with the Vader going through the hallway, that would have been better if it tied into the plot better. But it really is just fan service. Am I doing anime on this channel? I'd love for you to do Cowboy Bebop or Samurai Champloo. I want to. I haven't done it yet, and it's on my list. But then that's the problem. Like, what animes do I do? Because, like, Akira's been done to death. Cowboy Bebop's been done to death. Fan service is, I mean, okay, it's important from a business perspective. It will get eyeballs watching your thing. I would argue, though, who's the guy's name? The guy who does Barry. He's that comedian. The TV show Barry. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but he actually had a great thing on it when he was talking about writing. And he goes, if you're writing an episode of Barry, and he's like, if I write something and somebody tells me something is wrong, they're probably right. But if they tell me how to fix it, they're probably wrong. So that's my approach to fan service. I've never seen fan service that makes something better. I've just seen fan service that makes something more popular. And the way I try to watch it is strip the fan service out of it. If you're not a fan of Star Wars and you watch fan service from Star Wars, do you enjoy it more? And the answer is no, you don't. Astro Boy. Yeah, Astro Boy would be a good one. Action without story is what the new movies do. John Wick, Taylor Rake, Gray Man. Yeah. Like John Wick, like the last one where they just keep knocking him downstairs for no reason. It really is just showing off choreography. Fist of the North Star is a good choice, actually. I can see that. It's going to be tricky, though, because unlike King of the Kickboxers, which was like Chinese opera adapted for action, like North American action, there is a clumsiness to the 80s anime of things like Wicked City or Fist of the North Star that you just kind of have to suspend disbelief and accept that it's a very flawed story. So what I'll have to do is I have to watch them again. It's been a while. Watch them again from the perspective of if I have never seen any of this stuff. Like the animation, that's a stylistic choice. You can get past that. But like, is the story enough where if you never grew up knowing what Fist of the North Star was, would you watch it today? And that I don't know. Bill Hader, thank you very much. Yeah. But my short list of films, the ones right now, next I want to do Flash Gordon. I think the action adventure serial is in there. Plus the fact that, did you guys know in 2025 they call it Public Domain Day. Popeye, public domain. And not Flash Gordon. Who's the fucking older one? Not Buzz Aldrin. Why can I not remember? Buck Rogers. Buck Rogers is public domain. Dark City would actually be a really good choice. I think that'd be an awesome one. So the Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers one, that's definitely going to be fun. For anime, I would like to do Fist of the North Star. I'll probably do Wicked City first, though, if I do. There's always, and it's because there's a grape scene in it. I would love to do, not because of that, but that's the thing that's kind of keep me from wanting to do it, is Ninja, what the hell is it called? Not Ninja Assassin, Ninja Samurai? Why am I drawing a blank on this one? Anime Ninja 1997. Ninja Scroll, that's the one. I would be tempted to do that. Yeah, the Vader scene is there to show you how Vader is intimidating. In the originals, there's a lot more tell of him being in it. Yeah, that is fair contract. I can see that. Like, it physically shows you, as opposed to the original ones where they had technical limitations what prevent it. So, like, everybody just infers it, which I'm of two minds on it. Showing you how badass he is one thing, for sure. But, again, I got to defer to Alfred Hitchcock on this one. Whatever we can picture in our imagination is always more than what can be expressed on the screen. Like, the best Godzillas are the ones where you don't see Godzilla for like the first 45 minutes, and even then only sparingly. I do like the idea of inference as opposed to like giving a gratuitous. Yeah, I know. I just can't get past the new Star Wars, the fan service thing. I'll never see eye to eye on that one. I'm not saying they're not enjoyable. They're just not film. I'm like Scorsese, where it's like it's a theme park, you know? It's a theme park. Oh, dude, you guys are getting into all kinds of old school animes now. Angel Cop, Mad Bull, Bubblegum Crisis, Ramen One Half. There's all kinds of craziness on there. But that's the thing, right? There's like a huge list. And I haven't even gotten to Sneakers. Sneakers is one I want to do on this channel. I'm actually really looking forward to that. Sneakers is probably the greatest movie that nobody knows what the fuck I'm talking about. Absolutely amazing. It's Robert Redford, Sidney Poitier, Dan Aykroyd. Who's the chick from Battlestar Galactica that plays President Rosalind? Her. River Phoenix. There's one other famous actor on there. I can't remember. Oh, Sir... Oh, not Anthony Hopkins. What's the guy's name? He's knighted. He's the guy who played the Schindler's List. The little Jewish guy. Hold up a second here. Yeah, like I said, you guys aren't wrong. The difference I have isn't in that you're not, it's not, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I don't find it to be as compelling as like really good storytelling, is all I'm saying. There we go. Ben Kingsley, Sir Ben Kingsley. So it's like an all-star cast. And nowadays with the whole AI quantum computing thing coming out, it's kind of taken on a new relevance because that was what the MacGuffin was in this one. Some kind of like code breaking CPU that can break through all of encryption and stuff. Mary McDonnell. I got to keep her name in mind. I got to remember that. But yeah, it's really good. It's like a bunch of hackers and crackers and freaks fighting against the CIA and the mafia. It's really good. Oh yeah, James Earl Jones with the cameo. And then there's the whole Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger stuff too. That one's probably one of the greatest. Like Harrison Ford, there's a reason why Harrison Ford is a big deal. You think it was from Star Wars, you think it was from Indiana Jones. I would argue that Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger, which is technically a trilogy with Hunt for Red October, but different Jack Ryans. I would argue those made him more. Yeah, Kingsley was the Jewish guy on the typewriter. But it's good on this one. I like, and that's the problem is like, what do you pick? There's hundreds of ones I could go with here. The Fugitive, maybe, but I mean, there's a lot on The Fugitive, so that's probably lower on the list. If I had to pick between all of the Harrison Ford movies, Clear and Present Danger would probably be the one I would do. Patriot Games was really fucking good. Plus the fact that it's got like what's his name, Sean Penn or Sean Bean. The only reason I want to go with Clear and Present Danger above that is I would just find the whole South American terrorism thing to be more relevant than the IRA revenge scheme. Yeah, the cartels are a state within a state. Yeah. But I mean, it's like, which one of your children do you love better kind of thing, right? I'm just looking at the preview on this one. It's just so really good. But then I'm realizing too, I don't want to do just all thrillers and I want to get some like hardcore actions in there too. More I Come in Peace and more Rambos. So there's that direction. How many movies could I do on that one? The Last Boy Scout is probably going to be top on that list because that movie's just fucking brilliant. The Last Boy Scout is like peak Bruce Willis. The only reason people don't watch The Last Boy Scout every Christmas is because A, there's no Christmas trees in it, and B, Die Hard kind of overshadowed it. Oh, of course I can. The Professional is like one of my all-time favorites with Leon. Yeah, it depends. In France, they call it like Leon. In North America, they call it The Professional. But yeah, that one's an amazing one too. They did the train scene in The Fugitive in North Carolina, did a rafting trip in the mountains, saw the beat-up train engines. Yeah, I heard they just left him there too. Billy Blanks was in The Last Boy Scout. He was the football guy. It was actually the first Billy Blanks movie I ever watched. I didn't know who he was, and then I caught on to the whole Billy Blanks stuff with that. And then do I go in that route too? There's the Cynthia Rothrock stuff. There's the Billy Blanks stuff. There's all kinds of like Tiger Claws, Talons of the Eagle. Those movies, they're a little harder to take sincerely because most people who like them now like to hate watch them. But if you understand, like it's almost like the Hong Kong aspect of it and the lack of sophistication that Hollywood has, they kind of mix together. So it's similar to Kicking the Kickboxers. What do you think of Hunted? I don't mind it. It doesn't stand out to me. So I don't see it doing it. Anyways, we're going to end this one off pretty soon. We're almost out of time. I do want to give you guys a lead in though. I don't know who's doing Rule Zero today. I might stop in there for a bit. Anyway, so if you learn from this one, Way of the Gun, absolutely amazing movie. You're watching what really tight, well-placed storytelling does. You're seeing things that they're designed not to tell you how to think, how to feel, what to do. They don't take you out of the experience. They make you a part of the experience. Like until you have to watch the movie, you have to put the pieces together. You have an active role in your own experience. And I think if you can, The Long Kiss Goodnight is absolutely good. Absolutely. I should have done that on Christmas. But yeah, so to get through all of this stuff and to watch it, I think it would give people a better appreciation, not just for movies, but storytelling in general. And, vested interest in me, it's because I want you to read this. It's really fucking good. It's coming out February 14th. Pre-sales are out now for the Kindle edition. Links in the description. I'll catch you guys on the next one. I still don't have an outro, so I'm just going to put, let's just use Rambo. Yeah, let's just use Rambo.
What does this one?
It's blue light.
What does it do?
Turns blue.
Do you love action but hate pinko commies?
What the?
Do you yearn for an age where we were the good guys and had clear bad guys without some deconstruction about maybe the real evil is the friends we made along the way? Simple and effective stories. Stories perfectly told. A movie that has refined its genre to the point of perfection. Not a line of dialogue out of place, not a wink to the audience. Unironic awesomeness. A movie where you ram a tank into a helicopter for no reason other than it's awesome. A movie that lets you know it's okay to bring a bow and arrow into a combat zone. Do surgery on yourself with nothing but a campfire and a knife. Well, I have the movie for you. In the age of peak Hollywood genre, with the greatest action movie ever conceived, with Oscar award-winning actor Sylvester Stallone, creating action Americana that's so good you'd swear it was propaganda. It's the pinnacle of movies if you like movies with witty banter.
Any ideas? They're rounding them out.
Cool one-liners.
Who do you think this man is? Good. Oh, God would have mercy. He won't.
Over-the-top violence, indulgent pain, and the perfect mix of mindless action and mindful characters. This is their uncle who showed up at Thanksgiving to piss off your sister who returned from university to lecture you on racism. It's the peak of action in Rambo. Rambo 3.
Who are you?
Your worst nightmare.
All right, later, boys. I want to answer the one question in the chat: who does the voices? I have an AI thing that does Jean LaFontaine, the movie review.